What up, corner crew? Welcome to Let's Talk About, your unfiltered, uncensored discussion series. I think this is episode 5, maybe 6. I always lose track of how many episodes we're on. But yeah, shout out to y'all, man. Happy International Women's Month. We keeping it all month. You know what I'm saying? Got to shout out the ladies. We all come from women. We got to respect them. Got to give them the credit they deserve. For anyone watching that wants to join us, as always, just click the link in the description, jump on. And yeah, let's bring up our guest for this evening. Very, very well-known publicist. She's been doing it for quite a few years. She's making a big name for herself. She's all over the place. Marissa MJ Savino. Let's give it up for them, ladies and gentlemen. MJ.
Good evening. Good evening.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I just want to take a minute to just say, thank you to you for everything that you do for the culture and holding down the indie scene and the underground scene. You really do a lot for the artists. So, salute to you for that, first and foremost.
I say it all the time. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be doing what we do.
100%. 100%.
MJ, tell us who you are, where you're from, and give us a little background information.
Sure. So Marissa MJ Savino, I'm a Jersey girl, was born in New York, but pretty much raised in Jersey. I'm in South Jersey now. I represent MJ's Hip Hop Connects. I am a one-stop shop for PR, for artist development. The main goal is to get indie artists, that deserve shine. We make sure that they are out in the public eye, that they're relevant, they're consistent, they're building a fan base, they're, expanding their fan base. And we do that through, servicing the DJs. We do that through radio interviews, magazines, blogs, album parties, listening sessions, billboards, anything, that you can think of. We pretty much do it. We also have special FM packages for those that really want to, try and get into the mainstream. So we do a little bit of everything. It really is a one-stop shop. And for me, the artist development piece is major because that's what's missing today in the industry, is artist development, especially for the up and coming artists.
Yeah, it definitely is. A lot of artists don't really understand marketing and how to put themselves out there. They think they could just drop something and just ride off the strength of that, which it would work back in the day because it was anticipated. But now the market is so flooded that, you have to put yourself out there in the right way.
Yeah.
And you help a lot of people do that. You really do. You help a lot of people accomplish that mission. So shout out to you.
Thank you.
Equality in the workplace is a big topic that goes on in every industry, but you're in a male dominated field. How have you navigated?
I can say that it's definitely not easy when you first put yourself out there. Absolutely not an easy task. But the one thing that I have for myself, I was in social work for about 20 years. You have to have a backbone. I have a very strong backbone. I don't let anyone come at me left or, with disrespect or anything like that. I'm not your honey. I'm not your baby. I'm not your sweetheart. So when when people come at you in a certain direction, if that's not nipped in the bud immediately, then they're going to think they have something over you, like a hold over you or something like that. So that's one thing I definitely take great pride in, is that, I have a backbone. So I can maintain in this industry and I can hold it down in this industry. I'm not intimidated in any way, but again, that it takes a lot of understanding who you are as a person to be able to get to that point. Again, it's not easy. I don't think I was like that when I first put myself out there and first put my, my business out there. But through the years and different learning experiences, and like I said, I've been in social work. So if you don't have a strong backbone, that's going to be a problem.
Definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of bickering. There's a lot of fighting. And you're right. If you can't just navigate and you can't take one on the chin and move forward, then you're in the wrong business.
Absolutely. And you have to be confident when putting people in their place. That's
Mm.
another big thing. Confidence is huge.
And you can't walk on eggshells. You really can't.
No,
It doesn't matter what the name, how big the name is, or how when they're first coming out. You can't walk on eggshells. You have to tell the truth. You have to be honest, because they actually people really appreciate that. Because
100%.
there's a lot of fakeness going on. There's a lot of yes men. There's a lot of people
Yes.
telling them, "Oh, you're the best out there." No, you really,
Yes.
yeah, we see it every day.
Absolutely.
Social media is a wild one.
It
How
is.
how has that been working in your favor, social media and getting yourself out there?
Social media has been actually, a godsend. It really has. But I'm also, I'm an old head. So for
Mm,
me, I think to be successful, you need that perfect combination of like boots to the ground and social media. I don't think you can rely on one or the other. I think it really needs to be a combination. So for me in the beginning, using social media was great and everything, but I also needed to put myself out there and network with people, interact with different people. And I made sure I did that at least. I interacted with somebody new or made a new connection with somebody at least once a day, one person who was in the industry. And that helped tremendously for many reasons, because I said I'm a one stop for PR. It's me. This is MJ's Hip Hop Connects.
right.
But if an artist comes to me for a service that I cannot provide, I have a lot of partners around me that if I can't do it, my partner can do it.
Mhm.
So that's important to me. And like I said, the boots to the ground is still very effective. And I think, people are so stuck on just relying on everything for social media. It's a great tool. But look what happened those few times social media crashed for like a day or two.
Oh
Everyone thought it
my
was
god.
like the end of the world. Like no
Right.
one knew what to do with themselves or how to act or navigate at all. So
Most
yeah,
people can't even get in touch with each other
no,
because you don't even have your friends' phone numbers
you
anymore.
don't. You
It's
don't.
ridiculous. Yep.
I don't even know my daughter's phone number because I have
Mm.
her in my phone as, her nickname. I don't even know her number offhand. That's how crazy it is.
It is. It's wild. I actually the last crash, I wasn't aware. I was working and I was trying to message my wife, and I'm like, for some reason it just wasn't working. So I messaged
Right.
her through her phone number, and I'm like, hey, I don't understand what's wrong with Messenger, whatever, blah blah blah. I'm working. I'll talk to you later. And then I got home and everyone was freaking out, like, oh, there was the Russians, they hacked us, there's China. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So I mean,
People were losing it.
it's a big part of our lives. Like you
It
said,
is.
it could be a godsend. It could be the devil.
Yep.
It all depends.
Absolutely.
It all depends on how you use it. It really
But that's
is.
everything in life too. That's everything in life. Everything can be a godsend or, it can be the opposite. Everything in life.
Right. Right. So navigating the business as a woman in this male dominated field. Tell us some of the horror stories that you've come across that have affected you personally.
Well, I gotta tell you, it takes a lot to affect me, honestly. But there have been instances where when I work with an artist, the first thing I do is I like to do, just a consultation with them so they know what they can expect from me and vice versa. I let them know offhand that I'm very honest and I'm very blunt. If you're coming to me for a music review, I'm going to give you a music review. And a lot of times what I've encountered with the up and coming artists, especially the younger ones, and again, because they don't have A&Rs, because there's no artist development, they're very cocky and they don't know the business. So, there's been a lot of F you're a woman, you don't know nothing, and my music is going to go here and go here, and I don't need your help, and you're just an effing, P or an
Right.
effing B. And it's like, all right, well, you know what? You have a great day, and maybe we'll see each other in the future. Maybe we can work with each other in the future. So I've gotten a lot of that. But again, it doesn't faze me because you're going to get that no matter what. People think that all they need to do is get on the mic, make a song, and that's it. It's a hit. And if you don't like their music, then there's something wrong with you, not the
Right.
artist.
Right. Yeah. I've encountered a lot of that. A lot
Yeah,
of
of
that. And
course. I bet.
like you, I'm honest. Like I get
Yeah.
sent music, tons of music weekly. And can you check it out? Can you check it out? Tell me what you think. And I'm like, do you really want to know what I think? I'll ask you that first
Yes.
because everyone knows I'm an honest person and I'm going to tell
Yes.
you straight up. And like we said earlier, you have to be nowadays because the market is so flooded.
Yeah.
There's music coming out almost daily,
Yeah.
which and it's so hard to keep up. How do you keep your artist current and in people's faces in
The
this
main
flood?
Yeah, the main thing that I tell them is definitely not to stay in one box.
Mm,
If you're putting out the same kind of music over and over again, you're going to lose your fan base. At some point, they're going to want to hear something new, some kind of style, something new that you're throwing at them, to keep them engaged. Because now, we're living in an era where people's engagement, it's lost in like a couple of seconds. And the other thing too is you cannot have any gaps whatsoever, in dropping music, whether it's just singles or videos or projects. The minute there's a gap, even if it's just a couple of weeks, you're losing a whole engagement
mm.
of people. They've moved on to the next artist now because you have not given them anything. Um, and again, that's the world of social media that we live in. So I think it is a lot harder now than it was, back in the day.
Yeah, we've talked about it on, the happy hour a lot, is back in the day, we anticipated everything. You
Yes.
knew you knew something was in the works and they say, "Oh, in a year, you're gonna get it."
Yes.
You marked your calendar and you waited for that year to
Yes.
be up, and then you listened to that for another year, and then
Yes.
yeah, that's just how it was, but now it's like, "Okay, I'm gonna listen to this today, and I'll
Right.
probably never revisit it, ever."
That's it.
And
That's it.
it's a sad way too, it's a sad way of consuming.
It
Yeah,
is.
it
Because
really
there's
is.
no hype to it. Like you said, we had so much hype back then.
Mm,
It was like Christmas to us. Like I
really?
remember
Uh,
the feeling of the whole process of opening up a CD and opening up the cover of the CD and reading the credits and the thank yous and all that and the
but
features and
the
that.
way the plastic would
Yes,
smell different than the
exactly.
CD and the paper would smell
Yes.
different than the it
Yes.
was a whole experience
And how
going through.
frustrated you would get because sometimes you couldn't get the plastic off quick enough because you're so
Right,
excited to get into the CD. Like that whole process was just, it was just everything, and nowadays some people are just dropping music with no hype at all. Just bam, here I dropped a new single. Bam, I just
right,
dropped a new project. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. First of all, who are you? Where'd you
right.
come from?
There's not
It's
that many
crazy.
yeah, there's not that many people that can carry themselves just from their name and their reputation anymore. There's really
100%
not.
agree.
And
100% agree.
and that's why you're doing a big service for these independent artists to get them to the point where maybe their name
Right.
will carry them, but
Right.
they also have to do the work, that's the thing too.
Exactly. I'm glad you bring that up because there's a lot of artists that say, "Okay, I'm investing my money in you and the whole team around me. So all I have to do is make music, right?" No, that's not all you have to do. Yes, I'm your publicist, and yes, I'm going to put you out there and everything like that. But when fans and listeners go to your Instagram or your social media, they want to see you. They want to see a live from you. They want to see your videos. They don't want to see me posting flyers and this and that. How are they going to engage? How are you
Mm,
engaging them? How are they going to see if they're feeling you as an artist or who you are? You know what I mean? So no, you can't just be on the mic making music. You have to be pushing yourself out there just as hard as your team is. Um, and again, it goes back to artist development. There's a lot of artists that are like, they'll work with whatever their team suggests for them because they know we have their best interests. But then there's some artists that just are hell bent on, no, I'm not doing that. Absolutely not. I'm doing it
mm.
my way and that's it.
Then that's the type that you should be like, "Why do you want a team surrounding you if you're not gonna listen?"
Exactly. And a
If
lot
you're
of
gonna
that's ego. A lot of that is
mm,
ego. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. It's just ego with them at that point. But I work with a lot of artists. Some of the artists I've worked with, we have relationships longer than 3 5 years. And I got to tell you, the most rewarding part is working with an up and coming artist and watching their process and growing as an artist and learning the business and the industry to now, from like, they started out as an open mic to now look at John Jiggs. He's doing his own tours, overseas. Like,
right.
so to be a part of that growth, I mean, you can't put a dollar sign on that at all. And
No,
I
you
always
can't.
use him and Ricky Batts as an example. You can make it. You can absolutely 100% make this. This can be your bread and butter, but you have to know where to invest and you have to have an authentic team surrounding you.
Mm. You can't have just the leeches.
No,
They're
no,
there. They're there. They'll be the first ones.
Absolutely.
Mm. And
Yep.
that's what sucks too, because sometimes you can't see the leeches
No,
until it's
you
too late.
can't. You can't. And it's say, and I feel bad at some point because, some artists will hit me up and, we'll go over budgets and things like that. And they'll say, I just spent 10 G's to open up for so and so for 3 minutes. And I cringe because I'm like,
Mm,
with that 10 G's, you could have invested it in such better ways for you as an artist to get yourself out there and relevant. You just spent 10 G's to open up for somebody. Nobody knows who you are. They're never going to remember that 3 minutes ever. You just
right.
wasted 10 G's.
I've had artists say, "Oh, I got a spot opening," and they're paying 500, but then they gotta travel 3 states away. So that's like
Yes.
another $500, and then they
Yes.
gotta stay overnight. So then they're into like $1,500 for a 10-minute spot that
Exactly.
5 people there, and it sucks that I'm not the type of promoter that does a pay to play. I
Right.
will never, ever, ever ask an artist to pay me for
Right.
20 minutes. That makes no
Right.
sense. They're working. It might not seem
That's it.
that's not their 9 to 5, that's not their government job that they pay the
Right.
IRS on, but that's their job. And
Absolutely.
it's like, why would you ever ask someone to pay you for 10 minutes?
I
That
agree
drives me
100%.
insane. That drives me insane. That's gonna be a big topic coming up on a future
Yeah,
show.
as it should be. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of stay out of that whole show booking lane and everything and kind of stay in my bubble because there's
Yeah,
so many janky promoters out there. I've heard so many horror stories that it's just, I feel so bad for the artists. I don't think I want to be in that lane, you know what I mean, of,
right,
of putting on shows and things like that. Because like you said, I mean, the artist is moving the crowd. They're doing a service. So their time should be compensated. Um,
exactly.
but it's just the money some of these artists are paying just to get on some stages is absurd. It really is.
It is, it's ridiculous because, like you said, you can be sinking that into so many other things.
Yes.
So many other
Yes.
Uh,
Absolutely.
one thing I tell artists that I work with and I talk to and I try to advise is be different than everybody else with your merch. Everybody's putting out
Yes.
everybody's putting out shirts and hoodies and CDs, cassettes. Cassettes were the big thing,
Yes.
everyone started cop do something different. Like
Different.
Apathy put a USB out one year, which I thought was genius, and that was probably 10 years ago.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, "That is genius."
It
He
is.
put the album on it, and he was like, "I have 50 of these. They're this price. Come get them." And they sold out in a day.
See
Reef
that? Yep.
Reef makes a Funko Pop of himself.
Yes.
Same thing. "I got 50 of these. I'm putting them out. They're gonna go fast." They sold
Yes.
out in 2 days. Yeah, it's like,
Yep.
be different, do something smart. It's a smart move
Absolutely.
to change the style, and a lot of people are stuck in, "That's not hip hop."
Right.
But it is.
It is.
It is. Hip hop
It
is bled
is.
into every single culture,
Absolutely.
every single pop culture, every niche from movies to
Yes.
comic books, the cartoon, everything is hip hop nowadays.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
What are
I mean,
your
it's
thoughts
a
on
culture,
that?
it's a
Yeah,
lifestyle. And a lot of people that don't understand that think hip hop is just rap. No, that's not accurate 100%. It's a whole lifestyle. It's a whole culture. It really is.
it
That
is.
was one of my favorite parts too, going to shows and then after the show going to the artist's car and they'd pop up in the trunk. They'd have CDs, cassettes,
Mm.
t-shirts, everything. But you
We
got to be
yeah,
creative with it. Just like you
people
have to
don't
have
sell
that
merch
catchy hook.
nowadays either.
Yes. Yes, you have to be
People
creative.
won't do it. People won't
No.
go and invest the money to sell the merch, and you don't even have to invest in actual physical product anymore. You could just
Right.
buy a drop star,
Yep.
and I mean, it's so simple. Every tool has been given, and I think that's kind of
Yes.
been detrimental with music. Like, everyone can make music now. Everyone can have a
Right.
studio in their house.
Right.
We've talked yeah, I mean, we've talked about that a lot. I mean, just because you can, should you?
Right.
That's the
I
question.
agree 100% with that.
But we see a lot of it. We see a lot of
Yes.
it. And it's
Yes.
funny because we get a different look behind those scenes because
Right.
you do get personal relationships with the artists. You
Yes.
become friends
Yeah.
and you actually get to know the person.
Yes.
And but then again, you see, like, other sides of how you said you'll get messages like, "You suck. I hate you.
Right.
You don't know what they're talking." It's like, "Okay, dude, Jesus Christ, slow down."
Right.
Like,
Yes.
it's not personal. That's another thing. Everything is personal nowadays.
It is. It really is. It wasn't like that back in the day. You took the L and you kept on pushing. That's it. Now
Right.
everyone is so sensitive about everything.
Mm. Can't give a bad review
No,
because
well, I
then
do.
then
I do it all the
then you
time.
hate. I don't do album reviews anymore because I just don't have the time.
Right.
But
Right.
when I did, I would tell them straight up. I'd send it to them before I would post it or whatever, and I'm like,
Right.
"You cool with this? Because it's gonna
Right.
go out there. If I give you 2 mics, don't get mad. Don't be like, because I already told you it's happening."
Right. You were
So
warned.
right, and they're like, "Oh, no, it's all good, it's all good." Or then you become a hater, which I hate when people, "Oh, you're hating on this," or you there's no hate
Yes.
involved. Hate and opinion are very different things.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Mm.
Absolutely.
What's some of the backlash you get as a woman for your opinion in hip hop?
Oh, I mean, the best one is, you're a female, you don't know anything about hip hop, you don't know anything about music, just things like that. Nobody knows who you are, no one's heard of you.
Just the
Um,
everyday stuff.
yeah, just
Yeah,
everyday basic stuff that's like, all right, keep it pushing, have a good day. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, you can't let it phase you because that, again, everyone's taking everything personal. Don't be an artist, don't put your music out there if you can't take, constructive criticism.
That's
That's
what it
it.
is. It really is. It's like you're really trying to help, and I think
Right.
if you're in a text situation, sometimes the way people read a text message and your intended way
I
of them
agree.
to read it are totally different things, so
I
that
agree.
can set people off easily. That actually
I
happened at
agree.
my job. That happened at my job this week. Um, Someone meant to text me something, but they texted another person by accident,
Oh
and it
God.
wasn't bad. It was nothing bad, but
Right.
it was just like, "That was nice."
Right.
And then but if I would have read it, because I would have known the context of, "Okay, cool, I
Right.
know what they're talking about," but the person that got
Right.
it took it as, "What was nice? What'd I do
Exactly.
now?" Ah, and it blew up into this whole thing that it shouldn't even have
Yeah.
blown up into, and it's
It's
because everyone's so damn sensitive.
they are sensitive. And I also, I always put a disclaimer out there when I'm working with new people. Like, listen, yes, you're paying me for a service, but at the end of the day, I'm stamping my name and my brand behind everything.
Mm,
So, yes, I'm going to coach you on how to do interviews. And yes, I'm going to be on your ass like 24/7. Because again, I'm on my brand and my name is on here. I'm not going to be, embarrassed. I'm not going to have any of that tainted. I remember one time I had an artist do an interview, and this was like right when COVID hit. So this is when everything turned to like Zoom and StreamYard and all
mm,
that stuff because all the interviews were closed, studios were closed. And I didn't get to watch this particular interview because I had another I had something going on. I don't remember what. But immediately after the interview, the host calls me and says, MJ. And I knew by his tone because I've worked with this particular host for over a decade now. So I
mm.
know the tone when he said MJ. And then he paused for like 10 seconds and didn't say anything. I was like, oh shit. I said, what happened? He said, your artist was laying in his bed with no shirt on doing this interview, and my mouth completely dropped. I was like,
That
what? I was mortified, completely mortified.
yeah, that's kinda crazy. Like,
And the host said, like, he was just so
present yourself.
cocky with all his answers and just, he had this huge ego. And he said he was just leaning back in his bed, no shirt on, just chilling like he was a superstar. And I was mortified after that, completely mortified.
Yeah, that's a rough one to try to navigate. 'Cause it's like, well, you know how to present yourself.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
that's not gonna be a good look,
No,
like,
no.
I haven't had too many bad interviews. I mean, I've had some, like, dead air interviews where
Right.
you're just trying to talk to someone and you're
Yes.
getting nothing back.
Right. Right.
That's a rough one, but I haven't had anything like that yet, where they're just
Yeah, it was
lounging out and it's
crazy.
like but
Yeah. And he just thought he was a rock star. It was crazy. And this was not an established artist at all. This was like a green artist, like
mm,
his very first interview ever. And this is how he presented himself. It was just,
Maybe that's just how the vibe was. He wanted to give off that he don't care
oh
vibe.
man.
I'm the shit vibe. It's like, okay, we're never gonna book you on the show ever again.
Exactly. I had
That's
to
the
put
what
him in
they don't see.
timeout for like 3 weeks. Like, listen, we're not doing any more interviews yet. We gotta
Right.
like, revamp. And oh my God, yeah, I've had a couple of things like that when it came to interviews, because some of it too is common sense. You're gonna be in front of a camera. Like, I don't feel I should need to tell you how to be in front of a camera. Like, don't be in your bed, don't be in your car, don't be in the mall walking with your phone. Like, this is an interview where
Mm.
you want to gain a fan base and you want people to take you seriously as an artist. So present that.
I think it's a generational thing too,
I
because that
agree.
it's so lackadaisical with being on
Yes.
camera. They know they're on camera 24/7 basically. So for them to just
Yes.
a younger generation to pull out their phone as they're just taking a shit and be like, "Hey, here I am," I think
Yes.
it just means nothing. Like, it just they don't
I
even think
agree. I
about how to
agree.
where and
Even
that's
in
where
the everyday world, even like when I go shopping now and I see people at the register, the cashiers are on their phone.
oh, yeah, the worst is the people that have their phone out in their hand, but it's on speakerphone.
Yes.
Yeah, that drives me insane. I don't need to hear your whole entire damn
No,
conversation at all, and
I
they don't
agree.
people are looking at him funny, like, you could be in the middle of the supermarket packed, and they're just looking around, I'm
Yes.
like, "Oh, no, it's nothing no big deal."
Yes.
Like, who why? Who raised you?
It's exactly. Exactly. Where's your home training?
Right, like, I don't even understand how we got that far in society
Me
to where that's
either.
acceptable.
Yeah, me
There's a
either.
lot of things in society that are acceptable that when we were kids just wouldn't fly,
Not at
and,
all. Not at
and
all.
we just
Even
have
in
to
the schools, like just so much things are
yeah,
like okay in the schools now too. Like,
I'm glad I don't have children, but that's
oh,
one of the reasons is because I don't think I could be able to be a parent nowadays the
it's
way
hard.
I'm sure because
It's
your
hard.
hands are so tied when it comes to everything. Like, you can't even say boo to a child anymore, and that's it. They can call the cops on you and be like,
Oh
"They hit
yeah.
me."
Yeah.
They don't understand the ramifications of where they're going to be placed
Right. Exactly.
because TikTok doesn't tell you that. TikTok just tells you that you don't have to listen to your parents. They can't tell you what to do, that sort of thing. They're not gonna tell you. They can pull you right out of that place real fast. Well, I think you froze up on me.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
We're
Oh, you're
good?
back.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
All right,
back.
there
You're
we
back.
go.
You froze up.
I don't know
But
what
yeah,
happened.
I'm that's one of the reasons why I'm glad I'm not a parent because I think I'd be in jail at this point for sure. For sure. The way the way the kids are taught, the way kids are run out. When we were in the streets, we knew to respect the neighbors. The
Absolutely.
neighbors could tell you what to do.
Yes.
They knew your mother, they knew your
Yes.
father. They would go down to your house and you were afraid of everybody because you were
Everyone.
like,
That's
"All right,
right.
there was eyes everywhere." Now the eyes are
Yep.
still everywhere, but the eyes don't care. They just look right through
Right.
everything.
Yep. Yeah, it's a different world, a whole different world. It really is.
It is, and I mean, I'm surprised that our generation has made it this long in this world
I
because
hear that.
it's tough to change. It really is tough to change and to adapt
It
to the way
is.
things are, and everything progresses so quickly.
Right.
We're like we were talking about with music, we were anticipated
Yes.
everything. Every every
Yes.
everything was like that, there wasn't a new sneaker every week. There wasn't a new
Right.
whatever every single week.
Right.
We had our brands, we had our favorites, and it stayed
Yes.
with us for years, and now
Yes.
it's consume and it's over.
Yeah, it's exactly. We had the opportunity to like absorb everything and really embrace it. And now, like you said, some artists, they'll drop a single today, tomorrow they'll drop a merch line, the next day they'll have a perfume line, the next time they'll have a sneaker line, like all in the same week. And it's like, whoa,
Right. It's like, where do you
overstimulated here.
right, where do you and your fan base is mostly lower middle class, so where do you think
Right.
they're gonna get the money to buy all this stuff in one shot?
Exactly.
Because an
Exactly.
artists get upset that my merch isn't selling or this isn't selling because you hit us
Right.
with 18 different things in 1 week or
Exactly.
2 weeks.
And that's
At
why it's
least,
so important for them to have a team behind them who can kind of educate them on that. Because a lot of that too is they're just so hungry. They just want to put everything out, but they just don't have the blueprint to do that. But I mean, I respect their grind, and I respect again how hungry they are to just get themselves out there with everything. But there has to be a map, there has to be a blueprint to follow, a strategy and all that.
there has to be a plan. Like,
Absolutely.
if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, because I believe that to be true. I'm a
That's
cook
right.
by my day job. I'm a cook, and
Nice.
everything is about planning, mise en place, everything in place, and
Yes.
I live by that, because
Yep.
if not, everything's gonna go haywire. You're gonna miss
That's right.
something, and you have to pay attention to detail. That's another thing that
Yes.
just
That's a big
it just
one.
yeah, naturally, it's just a natural part of me. So
Right.
transitioning into this world, it made sense.
Right.
And my little hangups of my being anal, pause, and all the rest, it's just it fits this world. It fits the behind the scenes world, because
Yes.
I actually never had any intention of being on camera. I
Oh,
wanted to
really?
Yeah, no, I didn't wanna host anything. I
Oh,
didn't wanna be up
wow.
front. I never wanted to be the face of anything.
Okay.
I wanted to be the guy in the chair. I wanted to be the guy
Okay.
that was coming up with the ideas, helping move everything forward,
Right.
production, direction, that sort of thing. But
Right.
necessity happens. We have to do what we have to do to get out there in the world and to make what
Yes.
our dream is possible. So I said, "Screw it, let me get on camera and do this," and now it's been a couple of years, so
And now
I
you
guess
love it.
yeah, now I look forward to it. Before, I used to
See?
dread it. I used to dread it. I used to be like, "Oh my god, I gotta get on camera, and I gotta do this, and I gotta try not to be nervous, and I gotta try to
Aw.
yeah, like, play that part," you know what I mean? Now it
Yes.
just comes
Yes.
now it's easy, you know?
Natural. Very natural with it.
And
See?
that's just like an artist, it's all
Right.
about growth. Like you said,
Absolutely.
you're gonna come in here real green, and you're gonna
Mhm.
need help.
Yeah.
Never think that you don't need help,
Right.
because there's a huge network of people out there to use, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's a great thing, and we built a huge community, especially over the past few years, since lockdown. I think, our little independent community here has really grown and really started to shine. And
It definitely
what do you
has. You're out there doing it. Like I said,
well,
kudos to you because you're really
I
doing a
want
lot.
your thoughts on making it through lockdown and starting up, and, like, you started up before lockdown, correct?
Yes, I did. I started prior to that. Um, Business was booming during COVID,
Mm,
absolutely booming. I don't know if it was because of the stimulus checks or what, but I think the artists just took that opportunity to really invest in themselves. And it was a perfect opportunity, and it was great. I mean, when I tell you business was flowing. Artists
mm,
were just doing and dropping and doing and dropping. I loved COVID because of that. Because and you know what else too? What I found, like Doodlebug from Diggable Planets, he has always been fascinated with comic books and graphic
mm,
novels. So during COVID, he thought, you know what, this would be the best opportunity for me to kind of sit down and just kind of delve into that world. And that's what he did. He's a co-author of a graphic novel. He's been pushing that for the past year. And, one of the things that he said was, if it wasn't for COVID, I'm not sure if I would have, took the time to really sit down and do that, because that's always been a passion
mm,
for his since, I mean, before music. So, when artists took that period to really, I don't know, really get out of the box, or, become versatile with their music or invest in other things besides music, I think that really helped a lot of artists. Um,
mm.
yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that about him, that he was into comics or graphic novels or anything like that until he put this book out. And again, he said he doesn't know if that would have happened if it wasn't for COVID.
Mm. Yeah, because, I mean, if you weren't an essential worker, you were down for the count. You
You were
were
home.
doing nothing. Yeah, you were
That's it.
home
You were
doing
home.
nothing. So
Yeah.
the amount of output did explode during
Yes.
COVID. And
Yes.
it's just been a steady, and it's kinda just been steady since then.
I mean, because
There is a pre-COVID, post-COVID
yes,
production. There definitely is.
yes. Yes, because during COVID, there was no studios that were open. Tours had to stop, like everything. Like the industry just stopped.
Hmm.
So artists really had to get creative on how they're going to keep their fans, and otherwise, forget it.
Yeah,
It would have been
it was
bad. It would have been bad.
it really would have been bad. And social media has a big thing to do with it too, because we were able to
Yes.
connect and
Yeah,
keep
absolutely.
track of everything, because without that, everything would have stopped. It really would
Could
have.
you imagine COVID with no social media? Like with
Oh,
no kind of like internet or video streaming or anything, any of that with COVID? Oh my God.
and you would have only had what you had at your disposal. You wouldn't have been able
Yes.
to get anything new.
Yes.
It would have been probably great, and it probably would have sucked after a month.
Yes.
You
Yeah. It
know,
would have
that
been
first month,
interesting.
yeah, that first month would have been great if it was like 1996,
Yes.
but
Yes.
then after that, with everything closed, you can't go roller skating, you can't go
No.
to this place, you wouldn't be able to go to the public parks. Yeah, it would have been,
No. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think we would have survived through that, honestly. People are like, I love when social media shuts down and everybody goes all wild, and, then they say, "Well, how do people live without electricity?" It's like, I could not tell you. I really couldn't tell you. I think
Right.
when it
Right.
when the lights go out with our civilization, that's the end.
It
It
is.
it really is, because that's when people are just gonna automatically start freaking out and start hoarding supplies, and you seen it during
Absolutely.
COVID. I don't understand why
Yeah.
toilet paper became such a hot commodity.
Oh my God. And
Like,
people were savages in the stores too. Complete
and
savages.
for all the dumb shit. It's like they
Yes.
were not thinking about actual, like, "Let's get
No.
food and water." No, "Let's get toilet paper, hand
Right.
sanitizer,
Right.
soap, dish soap." It's like, what are you doing? You can't eat that shit.
Right.
If you're
Exactly.
worried about some shit, yeah, you're gonna have all the toilet paper, but you're not gonna be able to flush your toilet.
Exactly. Yeah. There was no
What do you
thought into it.
No, not at all.
Just raid the stores.
It showed how weak humans really are
I
when it
agree.
comes down to it.
Absolutely.
It
And that's
really
sad. That's sad.
It is sad. It really is, because if there was a global wide catastrophe at any point, I think more than 90% of humans would probably go extinct real fast.
Oh yeah. We'd be done. We'd be
Yeah.
done.
And would you even wanna try to live in something like that
Right.
anyway? Like,
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
it's such a there's some people, "Oh, I'd be out there survive," but why would you want to?
Why would you want to?
Right.
Exactly. For
If there was
what?
no
Like for
right.
what?
If there was no prospect of getting back to where we are now, because that would never
Exactly.
happen.
Right.
It took us so many centuries to get to where we are now, so why would you think that you're gonna survive out there in a year? It's gonna
Right.
be back to, yeah, no. I'm on the fence if I wanna live in Mad Max again or
Right.
not. I'm so on the fence about that. But
I'm right there with you.
MJ, we're gonna be wrapping it up very shortly. I don't wanna take up too much
Sounds
of your
good.
time,
Sounds good.
but, time to shamelessly self-promote. We love shameless self-promotion at the Culture
I
Corner.
love that.
Yeah, tell us where you're gonna be, what you got going on, where we can find you, everything.
Sure. So it's MJ's Hip Hop Connects. You can see right behind me. It's with an EX. You can go to Google. You'll find me. I'll pop up on Google. It's MJ's Hip Hop Connects on all social media platters. Do you hear me? On social media platters. Hey, whatever works.
Hey, they do
Platforms.
serve it up.
Yes, serve it up. There you go. We actually have, we're planning a lot this year. I'm working and networking with a lot of different, with companies. So we have some big stuff coming on. I'm going to be starting some artist development classes that I'm going to be doing monthly online for artists. So each month we'll kind of have a different topic.
Mhm.
Cause like I said, where are the A&Rs and where's the artist development? It's not out there. I'm going to be starting my own radio show probably maybe in the fall. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on, a lot of planning and stuff. So I don't want to put anything out there. I don't like to share what I'm doing. I just like to, hey, this is new. This is what we got going. Because sometimes, plans don't
Right.
always come through like you want them to. But there's a lot of things lined up. Um, as far as the big guys that I work with, Flip Mode, they're wrapping up their new album, so we're looking for that to drop hopefully in the beginning of next year with all the original members on that. So we're excited about that. Rampage is going strong with his sneaker brand. He just started a clothing line. Billy Dan's is working on new music, possibly some R&B going on. That's all I'll say
Oh
about
boy.
that. Yeah, so there's just a lot of stuff going on, and I'm really excited about some of the big stuff that's going to be coming out.
Hell yeah, we're looking forward to it. We really are. We heard about Flip Mode middle of last year or so. They were starting to tease
Yes.
about, and
Yes.
everybody was losing their mind. Me in particular. Shout out to Rampage for being on
Yes.
the Hip Hop Happy Hour podcast.
Yes.
Huge. I was a huge fan when they first
Yes.
dropped. I think I was like 18 or so, something like that, 17, 18. And Rampage was that dude. That voice,
Yes.
yeah, that it was like
Yes.
I was such an honor having to interview him. Was kind of
Let
surreal.
me tell you something. Rampage has industry stories for
Mm.
days. I mean, stories that nobody has ever heard of. It's insane.
I
Absolutely
I
insane.
I told him we were gonna have to have him on again this year because
Yes, you
we got
have
into
to.
a few, and then he's like, "Yeah, I got so many." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
we're definitely gonna do it. Definitely gonna do it again soon, very
Yes,
soon."
absolutely.
But we appreciate you joining us. We appreciate
Thank you.
everything you do for the culture. Anytime anyone's looking for A&R, publicist, anything, I always tag your
I
name because
appreciate that. I definitely
you're
appreciate that.
and I hope people actually reaching out to you because they need to be smart. Don't ask for help, and then people give you options, and then you just blow it
Right,
off. And be smart.
right.
Click the names,
Absolutely.
do your research, hit them up,
And
and
I work with everyone's budget. I'm not one
mm,
of those people that said this is a flat rate. No. I work with
right,
everyone's budget. I do custom packages. We can get you out there, even if it's just a little bit out of a time. We can work around everything.
right, exactly. Invest in yourself, people. That's
Yes,
the best
100%.
advice. Invest in yourself.
100%.
So yeah, MJ, again, appreciate you joining us. We're gonna have you on the Hip Hop Happy Hour podcast in a
Yes,
couple
I'm
of weeks.
excited.
Definitely.
Yes.
We're gonna dive more into the music side, like the real nitty-gritty music side. I got some questions for you.
Yes. I look
So,
forward to it. Thank you for
but
having me. I really do appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on, and we can't wait to see all the things that you're doing this year and going forward. We're looking forward to it.
Likewise, because you're out there
We all
killing it
keep our
too.
eyes on it. We all keep our eyes on it.
Yes.
You're being noticed. Trust me.
Yes,
You're being
likewise,
noticed.
sir. Likewise.
Thank you. And if for everyone that's watched, let's talk about episode 6 or 5. Like I said, I can't remember. In the books. Shout out to y'all. We appreciate you. Peace.
Salute.